Part 2 of 3. 3. Enjoy. Much better. Okay, I should really get out of bed before I fall asleep again. Instead of feeling the normal bored annoyance I have as I stretch and stumble my way into my uniform, I'm actually pretty excited today. Over the last few weeks, I figured out there's a 50-50 shot Joseph will show up to class on any given day. According to Caesar, those odds used to be a bit lower. Also according to Caesar, the odds changed once I started coming to the school. Oh! Even if Joseph doesn't show up, Caesar and I usually have a cool time hanging out, and after school we can usually track Joseph down so the three of us can chill together. I still hope Joseph shows up today. Class is way more fun with someone to goof off with. Dang, I'm kinda late. Well, late for being early. There's still time before the bell, but I like getting in at least a few minutes early so I can talk trash with Caesar and get ready for the day. There's still a few people hanging out around the courtyard. Mostly everyone's already inside. I'd better hurry. Mr. Jonathan isn't here yet, so most of the other students are just standing around talking. Oh, hell yeah! Joseph's here! I catch his eye and we grin at each other. I saunter over and toss myself into my seat. You're here early? Oh, am I? I hadn't noticed. He's acting a little different. It's not a big thing, but he's definitely plotting something. We all know you never get here before Mr. Jonathan is at least 20 minutes into a lecture. Joseph puts a hand to his chest like I've wounded him. Now you listen here, Ben. I am an excellent student. I will not have you slandering my good name like that. You're up to something. Am not. R2. He grins. Okay, maybe a little. I knew it. I lean over at his desk, Is that a word? Conspiratory. What? Okay, whatever. So are you gonna let me in on the plan? I'd prefer to utilize the element of surprise. This isn't a prank on me, right? It's not. He traces a cross over his heart, but the grin hasn't left his face. Promise. Before I can pry anymore, Mr. Jonathan comes into the room. Good morning, class. Dang. Well, I'm sure I'll find out pretty soon anyways. Mr. Jonathan starts in his usual morning stuff. The guy tries, but there's only so much you can do to make an 8 a.m. cram class interesting. Even with the anticipation for Joseph's mysterious prank, I can already feel myself zoning out. The class is deathly silent. Mr. Jonathan clears his throat. So, on to the next order of business. This time the whole class bursts into laughs. Who's responsible for this? Josuke bolts up straight in his chair. It's not me! I didn't say that was you. I'm just clearing my name here and now. Another quack comes out of nowhere. Where is that coming from? Jonathan looks pretty flustered, and everyone looks around to try and find the perpetrator. I, of course, already know the culprit. Our eyes meet, and Joseph drops me a wink. See how it plays out. I try to hide my grin and glance back at Joseph. He laughs, but skillfully disguises it as a cough. I look back at Mr. Jonathan, and he's clearly trying hard not to laugh himself. Alright, that was a good joke, but we need to get back to the matter at hand. Mr. Jonathan stops trying to talk and looks straight at Joseph. Oh crap, he figured it out? Well, I guess it's not hard if you know Joseph. Or, you know, even halfway paid attention to Joseph and I giggling, and shooting each other meaningful glances all the time. We really have to work on our poker faces. A few silent seconds pass, and Mr. Jonathan looks back to the rest of the class. I'm glad that Joseph has the common sense to stop the quacks while we're still ahead. In any case, before I was interrupted, I was trying to tell you all about the class trip. Class trip?! The class erupts into excited chatter, and Mr. Jonathan looks all happy. Alright, settle down, settle down. He waits for the class to regain some composure before continuing. This year we'll be taking a trip to the beach. More cheers. This is awesome. I look over at Joseph. I can see the gears in his head turning. He's probably already imagining all the shenanigans he can get up to at the beach. The class eventually settles down into the daily grind of learning stuff, but even with our noses in our textbooks, everyone is clearly busy thinking about the upcoming trip. Ah, the end of the day. I'm really looking forward to some leftover spaghetti and trashy television. Hey Ben, you headed home already? Nah, I'm off to fight crime. Unless you have a better offer. As a matter of fact, I do. Oh? He points at himself. Me. He points at me. You. Big mouth, watering burgers with a side of greasy fries. That's certainly tempting. Only tempting? He lets out a huge sigh. I guess I'll have to pull out the big guns. He pauses dramatically. And a milkshake. Sold. To the gentleman in the half shirt. Joseph's not a gentleman. Now, Jonathan, on the other hand, that's a true gentleman. It's not a half shirt. It's a 3/4 shirt at least. We both laugh. But anyways, I'm starving. Let's hit the road. Ooh. Do we get Caesar or go just the two of us? Just the two of us. Let's blow this popsicle stand. Hell yeah! This is a pretty sweet ride. Joseph runs his hands over the dashboard before lovingly bopping his Hawaiian girl bobble, setting her hula-ing. It's my pride and joy, my home away from home. He pulls his stick shift and eases onto the road. He's actually a really careful driver, never going over the speed limit and using his mirrors and turn signals and stuff, like you're supposed to. With his personality, I kind of figured he'd be a maniac behind the wheel. Driving or car? Joseph would probably want to talk more about his car. You really love your car, huh? Saying it's your home away from home is quite the statement. Well, it's a big hulking mass of metal that listens to me. A tap of my toe and a bend of my wrist, and I can go anywhere I want to. And when I say wherever, I mean wherever. It lets me go to places I've never been if I really wanted to. I could just leave behind the life I have and just go. Wow, I never thought of it like that. It's kind of romantic in a way. Joseph grins. What can I say? I'm kind of a romantic sap sometimes. I look out the window. How often does Joseph fantasize about leaving everything behind? I guess everyone has thoughts like that, but hearing Joseph say it makes me feel kind of sad. He seems like he has a good life, so what would possibly make him want to leave it? Oh, I've seen this place. I've never really been into it. It's kind of tacky and not quite in a good way, but I've heard the food is really good. Time to get our burger on. Let's eat until our arteries beg us to stop. I like the cut of your jib. I'll run and get our food. Today's too nice to be sitting inside, don't you think? Sounds good to me. What would you like? I'll have whatever you're having. Awesome, I'll be right back. I take a tentative seat on the hood of Joseph's car as he disappears into the building. It really is a nice day. He made a good call to keep things outdoors. I tilt my head up to the sun and nearly feel like dozing off. I have returned! He's brandishing a brown paper sack that's already getting dark with grease at the bottom and 2 styrofoam cuffs. For a second, I'm afraid he'll get mad at me for being on the top of his precious car, but instead he hops up on the hood right next to me. Looks like we're both having the standard fast food meal of burgers, fries, and milkshakes as promised. A ground beef patty seasoned with a blend of salt, pepper, topped with iceberg lettuce freshly picked from the head, and thinly sliced, locally grown Roma tomato, all on a sesame seed bun. He pulls out each item as he describes them. Bon appetit! I laugh. You're a true gourmet. Only the finest of food can salt my palate. Sate my palate. He winks and unwraps the burger, and then takes a huge bite. The acidity of the tomato pairs perfectly with the saltiness of the beef, a true venture into the realm of balanced flavor. I laugh and try out the fries. They're really good. I know you're being a goof, but it almost sounds like you know what you're talking about. I take a sip of my milkshake. Vanilla. Think you'll go to a culinary school when you graduate? Nah. I like food, but focusing my whole life on it doesn't sound like a good time. He takes another bite of his burger. He looks thoughtful, maybe a little sad. I can tell he's got more to say, so I keep myself busy with my burger. Wow, this is really tasty. Joseph takes a sip of his milkshake and sighs. Graduation really is right around the corner, isn't it? I nod. Joseph fiddles with his straw. Caesar's going to Italy on a scholarship. The guy's got his whole life planned out. Even I can tell that bothers him. I swallow my bite. I actually kind of relate to this, because, like, after I graduated high school, a lot of my friends left, and I just felt kind of alone. So I actually kind of understand that. Are you upset? What are your plans after high school? Do you know what you want to do with your life? Joseph grins hugely, all bright and carefree. Nope, not in the slightest. It almost looks kind of sad, though. What about you? Ditto. I smile too, even though I'm not really feeling it either. We gather up our trash and put it into the bag. Thanks for the meal, man. Don't mention it. We throw our trash away and hop off the hood of the car. The air is starting to cool down as the sun touches the tops of the nearby trees. It's gonna get dark soon. Yeah. I know that's not the polite way of saying it's time to wrap up our little hangout. Are you ready to head home? I shrug. It's starting to get late, and it is a school night, and I haven't done any of my homework yet. But I kinda don't really want the night to end yet. Well, if you don't want to head out yet, I have a place I'd really like to take you. Oh, he's blushing! I think I know where this is going! And right now is the perfect time to go. Go with him! I smile a little. Alright, I'll bite. Joseph grins so huge it makes my heart skip a beat. Awesome. He opens the passenger door for me. In that case, let's get rolling. He puts on some music, and it mingles with the sound of the car engine and the red sunset and makes it easy for my mind to wander. Joseph talking about the future really makes me think about my own. What do I want to do with my life? Who do I want to be? These are really the big questions, and I don't have any idea what the answers are. I don't think I will anytime soon either. Graduation, it really is coming. At some point, the sun went the rest of the way down behind the trees. Joseph's headlights are on, throwing two pale circles onto the asphalt, zooming under us. We've been going uphill for a while now. It's really not enough to feel much different, but I hold my nose and pop my ears just in case. Almost there. I side-eye him with a little grin. You're not taking me to some creepy cabin in the middle of the woods, are you? Because I've seen all the horror movies, and you won't get me that easily. Joseph snickers. Maybe. Maybe not. I laugh. He really won't let me know anything about this place, will he? We veer off to the main road onto a dusty path I would have missed if I had been the one driving. Branches brush against the car as we go along a bumpy trail. It's barely wide enough for his car, and we're still going up. The path ends in a grassy clearing on a hilltop. Here we are. I don't know what I had been expecting, but this, I'm speechless. It makes sense why you wanted to go around dusk. We can see the whole city spread out across the horizon, sparkling with lights, almost like the night sky is reflected below us. Wow. It's really something, isn't it? When I glance over at him, he's staring out over the city, seeing all those people down there, each light a different home, a different life. Kinda makes me feel small in the grand scheme of things. He comes around the car and wraps my hand up in his. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. Come on. I follow him up to the very top of the hill. I feel dizzy and weightless. It's totally just because we're up so high, that's all. Joseph takes a huge breath, enough to puff his chest out. My eyes go wide as he yells at the top of his lungs. What are you doing? Oh, one sec. I ordered some food, so it just got here, so that's what that was. Relieving stress. Try it. Scream. Let that frustration out. Sounds like bullshit, but I'll believe it. Dang, this does feel good. I'm not ready to graduate! I'm tired of people thinking they know everything! Is he saying the things that are eating at him? Huh. I guess I'll give it a try. Complain about time, complain about capitalism, complain about stress. Those are all valid things you can complain about. Complain about stress. I'm tired of feeling tired! I'm sick of always feeling on edge! That's it! Let it all out! I'm terrified of the future! Oh, this is sad. I'm tired of being alone! Ah! Ah! We both scream into the night. I feel like weight has lifted off my shoulders. Getting to say these things out loud feels so good. Like, so cleansing. Our screams trail off into laughs. Ha! I feel better. Me too. We look over at the city. It's so quiet here, peaceful. I feel like I could live up here, out of reach of all my problems. Joseph sighs. When I'm up here, I feel like everything in my life is so insignificant. But it's not a bad feeling. Yeah, I get that. We're both silent for a long time. I guess we should probably start heading back. I know he's right, but it still makes me feel sad. Yeah. I pat around the car until I can find the crank to roll the window down. How old-fashioned. With the window down, the car is filled with cool, rushing night air. I stick my hand out and hold it against the wind for a minute, and then tilt it to sail it through the flow. My hair is whipping around my head. I feel so alive. I can't remember ever feeling this good. So there you have it, boys. That ends part 2. We spent some quality time with Joseph, and went Super Saiyan along with getting our problems out. So yeah, can't wait to see how this plays out next. So you all are gonna have to wait, even though I already know what happens. So yeah, I'll see you in part 3, the final part of the Joseph saga.